Hey, it's Biddy Penny. Welcome to my channel. Today I have a very special project for you guys. We are going to make a deck of cards that's for crafting, and I'm basing it solely on Craft Roulette. This is fully inspired by Craft Roulette. I have the Creative Companion, and I have some 6x6 paper to smash, and I also have some 12x12 paper, and I can't wait to share this with you. So I was smashing paper on my 6x6 paper on my channel live, and I was suggesting that people use their 6x6 paper to make decks of cards, like creative cards, scripture cards, self-care cards. You could put jokes on them. You can make any kind of cards you want, any kind of theme that you can come up with. And one of my suggestions was a Craft Roulette deck, and I honestly just had to make it right away. So here it is. I recorded the full process for you. I chose 4 colors of 12x12 paper. Now, the point of me choosing a solid 12x12 paper was, one, I want my cards to be 3x4. And with a 12x12 sheet, I can get 12 cards per sheet of paper. Plus, it's a solid color, and all 12 of these cards are going to match. And I chose 4 different colors so that it could represent the project, the colors, the element, and random, which are the 4 categories that Craft Roulette parameters fit into. Then I grabbed this this pad of paper. It's really old, from Stampin' Up, and what was it called? Playful Palette. Yeah, it just reminded me of paintings and crafting and artwork. So I thought that it would be a great choice for these cards. And I'm cutting these down. I went through these in the live, so you could go back and watch the live video. I'll leave that linked down below, but I'm showing you what this would look like with an ATC on it. It would have a border around. So that's one way you could design it. But that's not what I did for my deck of cards. I didn't want any scraps. So I cut my 6x6 paper down to 3x3 squares. I was able to get 4 per sheet of paper, which is awesome. So for each color combination, I needed 3 sheets of 6x6 paper and 1 sheet of 12x12. So it did end up being a great project for smashing paper. I used 12 sheets of 6x6. I used 4 sheets of 12x12. And so that was great. So you can design your deck of cards any way that you want. I was just trying to reduce how many scraps I was going to have left over. And I was going for no scraps. So if you follow the 3x3 squares like this, you will have no scraps, because you're going to use 100% of your 12x12 paper, and you're going to use 100% of your 6x6 paper. And you can make as many cards as you want, because there are years and years of parameters on Craft Roulette for you to pull as a resource. And so go to craftroulette.live, and you will be able to see all the past galleries, all the different parameters. Mary's always changing them and adding new ones every month. And so there's a whole bunch to choose from. Plus, you could choose some of your favorites. But I even chose some that I thought I would consider to be a challenge, because I think that that's what's fun about Craft Roulette, is that it's completely random as far as what the combinations are going to be. And it's a lot of fun to stretch and figure out how you're going to meet these parameters. So if you don't know what Craft Roulette is, well, it's a YouTube channel. So just go to Craft Roulette. I'll have it linked down below. And every Friday night, pretty much, Mary gets together with a guest, and they spin a wheel and make cards. It is fabulous. And it's a very creative and encouraging place to be. Highly recommend it. So I wanted to create a deck of cards. Now, I have some Craft Roulette goodies in my stash. I have the stamp set that was very helpful in creating my deck of cards because it had all the parameters. So it had project, colors, element, and random stamps. Plus it had a Craft Roulette, the wheel. It's just perfect. It's this one right here. It ended up being the perfect companion to me making this deck of cards. So once I glued my 3x3 squares down, then I was ready to get going. So the orange ones are going to be my project cards. The green will be my colors. The blue cards are going to be my element, and the black is going to be my random, like the black horse. But yeah, so I just used my stamp set, and I ended up stamping the categories up in the top right corner here of the cards. Now, I wish I would have used like pigment ink, but I used dye ink, and it just didn't give me the bold look I really would have preferred. But that's okay. Like, I can read it. I know it's there. Plus, I have them broken up by color. But to make these cards most efficiently, you definitely want to approach it from a mask making standpoint. So, cutting all at once, gluing all at once, then stamping all at once is the way to go. I timed myself because I do that when I'm crafting. And it took me about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes to make these cards. However, this is a deck of cards that I could use for a long time to come. And I'm going to show you how you can expand your pack of cards without making more physical cards themselves. Okay, so let's look at this creative companion. So this is kind of like a journal, if you will, that Mary designs and sells. And it's a way for you to kind of keep up with Craft Roulette each week. And it is a wonderful way to record my favorite part of the show, one of my favorite parts of the show, when everyone in the chatterbox is sharing their ideas about what their take is on the parameters. So after Mary spins the wheel and you find out what your 4 parameters are, the chat just lights up with creativity and inspiration. And on these pages, it's great to write down. This is what I do: write down and highlight what the actual parameter was, and then write down some ideas from the chatterbox. Now, I didn't get to see this episode live, and the live chat wasn't available at the time when I did watch it, but that's where you would write all of that. So, there's a lot of ways to keep up with Craft Roulette, and this is just a fun additional way that I came up with. Okay, so I'm taking these scraps and I am going to kind of decide, these are how I'm going to write the parameter on each card. And I was trying to decide if I wanted it to go all the way across the card, just part of the card, and I chose all the way across. And I went through all of the current parameters and chose, because I only have 12 of each card, I just chose a random selection and wrote whatever the parameter was on those little cards. So you can see those here. So at this point, each one has 1 parameter written on the card. And I do plan on decorating the back because I have the stamp set. I really want it to look like a deck of cards. So I'm going to decorate the backs all the same. However, my other idea is that you could write ideas from the chatterbox on the back of your cards. I think that would be really fun, if you get a parameter that you kind of feel like, that one's difficult, I'm not sure about it, you could write some of the Chatterbox's ideas back there. So when you do pull that card, you can use them as a resource. Okay, you can expand your deck by adding more sentiment strips, basically. So these are 1/2 inch, if you're wondering. They're half an inch by 4 inches. And you could totally add multiple ones so that each card has, more than one. Or you can just keep making cards all day long, whatever you choose. But I think it would be a whole lot of fun to leave some of these blank so that you can add them as they pop up each month. If there's another parameter that you see, oh, I'd like to add this to my deck of cards, then you'll be able to do that. I think it's a way to expand the deck. All right, I want to decorate the backs and then show you how I'm going to store these. So one of the colors I chose is black, and that's fine. We can still decorate the back of those. If you chose dark colors, you could write on the back of them with gel pens, and that would be a way to write over the darker paper. But again, I just want mine to look like a deck of cards. So I'm using my stamp set from Crafty Roulette, and I'm stamping the wheel, and then I'm stamping the name Crafty Roulette, and that's how I'm finishing off my deck of cards. And I'm doing this to every single card. Now, I eventually got smart and combined these two stamps onto one block, and it worked perfectly. So here's on the left, the expanded card, and on the right, just the standard. And as I flip through here, I realize, I missed a few right there. So I end up getting those. But once I combined the two stamps, it was so quick to go through and stamp all these. And the black showed up fine on everything, but of course the black. So I used Lost Shadow. It's an oxide, distress oxide, and that worked perfectly for those. Now I'm going to store these in a little Tim Holtz box, and I like it because I won't be able to cheat and see what the parameters are, and I can just randomly pull 4 cards. So today I got the project, it was Feel Better, the colors were On the Ground, the element was Lyrics, and the random was Off Center. I actually want to make this card. I didn't make it in this video, but I want to come back and make this card because I really like all of those parameters, and I can't wait to play with my deck of cards. I think this would be a fun gift to make a friend, and just a fun element to have in the craft room. Thanks for watching. Bye.